Heat signature's rising fast.
We gotta get out of here.
Where's Jean?
Where is she? Jean!
X-Men Dark Phoenix is directed by Simon Kinberg and it stars James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, Sophie Turner, Ty Sheridan, Cody Smith-McPhee, Jessica Chastain, and Alexandra Shipp, Evan Peters for a little bit. Really disappointed about that. X-Men Dark Phoenix is the retelling of the third X-Men movie, which is now the seventh X-Men movie as well, the Dark Phoenix Saga, in which Jean Grey has the Phoenix Force put into her from a space mission, and then she starts, you know, wrecking things and just leaves the X-Men and is like, I'm dangerous, and the X-Men's like, no, we can help you, and then she kills Jennifer Lawrence. It's in the trailer, calm the fuck down. And then the X-Men is like, we need to go help her, and Magneto's like, we need to go kill her, and then Jessica Chastain's hanging out on the side like, hey, I'm here. Needless to say, X-Men Dark Phoenix is a fucking mess. I remember saying in my trailer review, I think I said something along the lines of, I'm excited for this, or I'm interested in seeing it, or I think it will be good, or it looks good. No, it sucks. Not every report you've heard is as bad as what it seems. It is not an atrocity, but I really hated it. And that's an important note to touch on, that I just really hated it. Let's start off with the one positive I found in the movie. The train sequence in the trailer, more specifically the second trailer, it was fantastic. It was a really nice sequence. The action was really well shot. It was just really awesome and fun to watch, seeing the X-Men utilize their powers together, start using their power, using their powers together, fighting off evil hordes of aliens. Long fucking story, I don't know. And them all working together, and it was just a really fun and awesome sequence to watch. What the fuck is this continuity? Like, seriously, to explain the continuity of the X-Men timeline is a pain. Alright? Because obviously, you had everything fixed after Days of Future Past. Stopped at Days of Future Past, you had it all good. Then you fucked it up with Apocalypse, then you fucked it up even more with Dark Phoenix. You just unclogged the toilet, and then you just blocked it again twice. Like, there are so many continuity problems in the X-Men timeline. It is actually amazing how well it is. But that is perhaps another rant for another day. Not on this channel, of course. Let's talk about my problem from the very beginning. You know how every X-Men movie starts with, going through, like, you got all the rolling title credits, but they're going through, like, the Cerebro door sort of, like, locking thing? Not in this movie. That really annoyed me. You know how Quicksilver has a fun scene from, like, in Days of Future Past and Apocalypse set to, like, a song of the era whilst he does some cool speed up shit? Nah, not in this movie. He injures himself by the half an hour mark and sits out for, like, the next hour until you hear him, like, come in at the end of the movie going like, hey, slow down, kid. And that's his character arc, because I guess he went from really fast in the Days of Future Past to going at the end of Dark Phoenix going, hey, slow down, kid. Like, what even is that? Like, that doesn't even, it's not even slightly fulfilling. Like, was there scheduling conflicts that restricted him from being in the rest of the film? Like, I genuinely don't understand why you couldn't have Quicksilver doing something. Him on the train scene would have been fucking awesome, but he wasn't, so that's just sucked. The visual effects in the film, they're dodgy. Some of them are awesome, most of them pretty dodgy. They look very much like, they're just staring at like a blue screen, or it's visual effect, or they're just having like tennis ball eyes and they're just trying to look at where things are. The villains are just villains because they are villains. Like, it doesn't really feel like they're very well fleshed out, or they're very well utilized, or they actually feel like they're aliens or bad guys, and they just suck as villains. They're not they don't appear to be threatening at all. Some guns kill them, some guns don't. What's the deal with that? Is it the type of caliber or something? Is that something that we missed as the audience? Obviously, this is like the second movie you've met with a new X-Men team, so that of course means you're not as connected to the characters when you start seeing them, being torn apart. That's why, like, even if you watch the 3 Avengers films, you would still sort of feel a little bit of, heartache when you see that, like, half the characters are dead in Avengers, at the end of Infinity War. When you get to, like, the team being ripped apart in Dark Phoenix, you spent 2 movies with them. If they did that at the end of Age of Ultron, you wouldn't feel the same way. Maybe you might, because, there was 7 years of films there. But you still wouldn't feel the same connection. You would feel after the third movie, which would have been a much better idea. I really didn't like the performances at all. Nicholas Hoult, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence all did not feel like they were playing the same characters. When they appeared on screen, I'm like, okay. There are highlights of and glimmers where you just go like, oh, that's the Magneto that I remember. But it really feels like if there was something below phoning it in, that's what Jennifer Lawrence was doing. Very bad performance, didn't like it. James McAvoy, I guess he was trying for something different. It didn't really work out, I guess, when the way he was wanting it. And Nicholas Hoult as Beast, it never really feel like he was a character that I got particularly attached to. Maybe at like its peak at Days of Future Past, but afterwards, not a whole lot in X-Men Apocalypse, and I was really disappointed by that. The movie is also boring for a lot of the part. Like, the movie's 114 minutes long, let's say 10 minutes for credits, so it's 104 minutes long, right? And I'm going to give a rough estimate of when the first action set piece comes in, maybe at about the 75-minute mark. Like, it takes a long time for there to be actual action in the movie. Don't let anyone tell you that rescuing someone, like, you know, I suppose it technically counts as action, but it's not like X-Men action. You don't get to see them all really using their powers whatsoever. Like, the space mission is fine, but it's not fantastic. And when it does get to the supposedly the middle of the film and its mid-action set piece at the end of the second act, it is horribly shot. The powers between Cyclops, Storm, Magneto, and there's like a whip guy and a psychic girl and Nightcrawler as well. It's awfully horrendous. Like, it's just terrible. Nothing really feels like it's edited together that well, and it's just terribly well shot. And the worst part about that is that you've got CGI effects, they're not doing anything all that physical, really. And that brings me to my biggest complaint of the film at all. Simon Kinberg should not have directed this. He did in my opinion, terrible job at this. He can write a film for sure. He does a decent job writing a film. I love the X-Men films, but I thought he was just the wrong person to direct this film. They should have got someone else. At the very least, try and see if you can get Matthew Vaughn back for this. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, ironically enough, I will say, burn it with fire. Have you seen X-Men Dark Phoenix? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, become another Platypus, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Well done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these two videos for more content, or subscribe, so just be reminded of when I upload. So, you know, subscribe. That'd be great.